Hi friends, and welcome to my 2025 wrap-up video and 2026 goals. I wanted to start by thanking everybody who has followed this year on both YouTube and Twitch. The growth has been great. I love having you guys here. I love having you comment on my videos here on YouTube and then engaging on Twitch. It's really helpful to me as a content creator and to know what you guys are looking forward to seeing and how your projects are going in your lives. So 2025 was a hard year for everybody, I think, or at least most of us. 2025 was a continuation of a hard year from 2024. 2025 brought the first anniversaries, a lot of firsts this year, of the first year without Luna, the first year without my mom, preparing for my military retirement. So there was a lot going on in 2025. My car, brand new car, has had plenty of issues. It's currently in the shop still. So, 2025 was a wild ride. And it's now January 4th. And, so far things in the world, are looking like we're going to be having another hard year there, for 2026. Hopefully things will settle, but I just don't know. But as far as how 2025 went for crafting, I wanted to wrap that up for you all. I did a video back in, I think, September that highlighted how many skeins I used in August. And then I didn't do another video for the rest of the year about that. But I was keeping track of all of my labels. So the other night I went live on Twitch and we went through all of the labels. I wrote down all of the yardages and how many skeins I went through. And so right now I'm going to go through that list with you all so that you can see what I did. I don't have any frame of reference for how productive or not productive I was. I feel like I was very productive. And I guess that's really all that matters, right? Is that you feel like you accomplished something. So let's go back through, and we'll start with August, even though there is a video. August, I had 7 skeins that I used, and then that total yardage was 1,852 yards. That seems like a decent amount. It's at least a Karen anniversary cake, and maybe a Red Heart Super Saver. Bitty Stripes, I think those are like 800 yards. Maybe not, maybe they're like 500. But that was a pretty good month. September had a little bit of it looked like a mismatch with the amount of skeins that I used versus how many yards I used. In September, I completed 2 6-day star blankets, both from Karen anniversary cakes, and one of them I used a slice of anniversary cake in there as well. So September I had 3 total skeins used, all of them Karen anniversary. So 2 of them were the big Karen anniversary cakes and one was a slice of anniversary. So the total yardage for September was 2,407 yards. And that was a lot. I believe that's not quite my largest month, but it's pretty close. October, I used 2 skeins, and I had 392 yards. October was the month that I got started with knitting beanies, and then I just really got on a knitted beanie kick, and you can get a ton of beanies out of like 1 skein. So I didn't really use as many skeins as I thought I was going to, but that was also my birthday month. There was a lot going on. I was out of town, so sometimes you just have a month where you don't do that very much. And I might have done more sewing in October than I did crochet or knitting. In November, again, I had 3 skeins and that equated to 1,285 yards. In December, so December is going to look a little weird. I completed a scrap basket. I posted it on my Instagram. I did not make a video about it here on YouTube. Apologies, I need some water. I did not do a video on YouTube about it. but I made a scrap basket. I have a lot of worsted weight scraps, and I thought, I mean, why not? It's a really great way to use up yarn. And I feel like I didn't even make a dent in my scrap basket, but the scrap basket used up 21 scrap skeins. So I'm counting them. I did weigh the basket, and it weighed just over a pound. And it was 489 ounces. So I did a little bit of math with the like ounces and a worsted weight, because it's all worsted weight yarn. And so that yardage, so December is going to look a little weird, right? So December I used 24 skeins. Remember, 21 of that was from my scrap basket. So I used 3 additional skeins of yarn in December. My yardage total for that month was 2,551. So December was the largest month, and I could have used more yarn. I did a 3-strand basket. I feel like I didn't make a dent in my worsted weight scrap basket at all, but I'm gonna make another one. And the scrap basket is gonna be used for my donation beanies and scarves, anything that I make that I'm not gonna sell. That will go in that basket, and then I can just take the basket to the drop-off location for my local charity for the houseless population, and they will distribute warm things for those individuals. So 2025 total from August to December, 39 skeins, 4,228 yards. Again, I didn't track anything from January through July. So we'll see. I am tracking 2026, starting in January. So overall, 2025, I think, was a pretty good year for working on projects. And I'm going to go ahead and show you my Airtable. I use Airtable for keeping track of all of my projects. And I say all of my projects, but I haven't really been using it the way I should have been using it. I didn't track every single project I made in 2025. And we're going to get into that in our goals for 2026. But I do have my Airtable up for my Just Finish It 2025, and I will go through that with you. I will put my referral link down in the description box. I have a referral link. I'm not sponsored by Airtable, but that would be great. Not sponsored by them, but if you click my referral link, it does show them that I have referred people, and then I think it gives me like a discount or $10 off of like a membership. So feel free. I have my boards or my Airtable sheets linked in my Discord. I don't have them open for like public consumption. So if you're interested, you can let me know if you want the Discord. I usually give that out over on Twitch. We've had people join from Twitch that their intentions are not good. They're not good human beings. So I kind of have it locked down so that I don't share it publicly, just to protect the community members who've been there for a long time. We are an inclusive space, and we're not about that life. You know, we're not about having individuals with nefarious intentions in our Discord. So, okay, so let's go through Airtable. This is my Just Finish It 2025, and I have all of my projects selected, and so I can show you that here what I have a lot of things that are underway, unquilted tops. So we'll look at the active projects list. So this is what is left from 2025. This is the stuff that I put on the board, either at the beginning of the year or throughout the year. Some of these things, if they say that they're new, I put them on the board after the 1st of January, and they are something that I started in 2025. So Azithar he's my partner. That's his Twitch name. So I just don't publish his first name anywhere. I'm making him a messenger bag for his magic cards when he goes to play Magic. So that is still in the design process because, as he expects, if I get a commission, his bag goes kind of to the bottom of the pile. But we're going to work on that hopefully at the beginning of the year so that I can get him his bag. We have some crochet things that are underway. The Magnus blanket has been on there for a long time. There are a couple of things I think I might just frog, like this waffle blanket. I don't know. I'm not, it's in that like burnout velvet and I just didn't love it. So I'm probably going to frog it and reuse that for something else. But I have a lot of quilts. And so I am finishing the year with 18 unfinished projects, or so I thought. But let's go to the completed board and, oh wait, that's not it. My phone's in front of my computer screen, so I can only see part of it. So here's our completed, everything that I completed in 2025 that I tracked. I've got quilts that I finished, an amigurumi that I finished, patterns that I designed for commissions, shawls, beanies, all kinds of stuff. There was a lot of, I was wondering about whether or not I should track beanies individually, and I think I should. I just want to keep a record of it, right? So this is everything that I finished. So the finished list is longer than the not finished list. 42 items. You could argue to add 5 for the bowl cozies, which is would bring us to 47. So yeah, I guess you could just, there was a lot more that I finished in 2025 that I didn't track. I was not tracking. This was not my priority for the year. I don't really know what my priority for 2025 was. I think it was just surviving. And I feel like a lot of us were in that boat, that surviving was just how we got through 2025. A lot of disassociation, a lot of let's just tunnel vision into whatever makes us feel good, right? So that's 2025. We'll go ahead and look at 2026 now. Okay, this is my 2026 WIP list. And while I have this up, I want to go through goals. So I have 2026 goals. I did talk about these on Twitch in my previous broadcast. We're going to put it here for posterity's sake so that you guys can see, or you can listen, or whatever. You can hear what my goals are. They're not resolutions. They're just things I aim to achieve this year. So this year, my goal is to not carry over any of these old projects. And there, you can see around my office, there's a little bit of a mess happening. I had pulled out the calendar quilt, because on Twitch, they were like, work on an old project. And so I pulled out the calendar quilts. And then I looked over there today and thought, that's a quilt I don't think is on my project list. And then I pulled out all the quilts. And I found out that I had a couple on there that were not being tracked on the 2025 list. So I have added all of the old quilts. So whereas I finished 2025 with 18, we're now at 29. We're now at 29 records for 2026. Not too bad, but still not great. And when Joanne was going out of business at the beginning of the year, I went and bought lots of Minky and backings for quilts. A lot of these you'll see, like there's measurements in my quilt notes that show that I would open up Airtable on my phone when I was out shopping for backing, so that I knew, okay, this is how big it is, this is how many yards I need. And I would just go in and buy backing fabrics. So I have gone through a lot of these quilts and I have selected backings. There's backings all over on either side of me. And we're going to work through it. So again, my goal is to finish 2026 with none of these old projects. This Flyway Puzzle Mystery Quilt was on 2025's list, but it's still considered new because I didn't finish it, the quilt top, until November. It was a puzzle mystery quilt, so we were going through. So that's, for me, this is still a new project. Sorry, you're gonna hear the dog. Okay, so there's just I've got a lot. I added these totes. We were doing a charity event in December for Fred Hutch Cancer Center, and we decided to do a charity quilt, but using the there's like a Quilt Blocks card deck, and there were 40 cards in there. So we did Math Rocks for Quilt Blocks, and so rolling the dice, I roll 2 d20s to pick the quilt blocks out of my fat quarters. So that's I was trying to use up my fat quarter stash. Well, that led into organizing my fat quarters, because I have ADHD. Let's be very clear. I have ADHD. So I'll start a project and I will go in a completely different direction. So I was off Twitch. I was not streaming. I was just kind of trying to get organized, put things away, because I was going to be working on some other projects. So I went through and I started organizing all of my fat quarters and all of my pre-cuts. And then I found a stack of 5-inch charm squares that did not have a label. There was just, I don't know. I think there's 238. And I know this because I separated them into 40 square chunks for bags. So I've got them set aside, all these loose charm squares to make into bags. So those are listed. I'm listing them individually. And I don't know if I'm going to make totes or if I'm going to make Nantucket pouches, and I will show you a Nantucket pouch when I get to the completed items. But here we are. This is 2026's not done list. Work in progress. I did make progress on my Redworks block of the month. Both quilts are now fully tops. They're not separate. I don't know where this log cabin quilt is. It's probably in a container under the cutting table. I can't find my Wild West quilt, but I found the backing I bought for it. So we're just, I went through and I was looking and I'm like, oh my gosh, I've got all this stuff that I have got to get out. This Desert Sky block of the month was something, I don't even know where I got it. But I bought it somewhere and I put all the blocks together. It was something that came from Joanne eons ago. I must have bought it. So I have it 2013. So, and I love this because it shows when I started these things. I actually think I started the calendar quilt before the Redworks. So those, again, I don't remember those dates. I have no concept of when I started those blocks of the month. I just know I started them in 2012 because I moved at the end of 2013. So the Redworks quilt might have been a 2013 project or like a later 2012 into 2013. But I moved from Washington to Oklahoma at the beginning of 2014. So I know that I had all of those things before I moved. And I did not start going to classes and attending in-person events for quilting until 2012 after I got back from my deployment. So I know the rough time frame, I just don't have specific dates for those things. So let's talk about completed projects, because I do have completed projects. I have completed I'm on track for completing basically one project a day. I cannot keep that momentum. There's no way I can possibly keep that momentum up. I've just been off for 12 days, and I have had my sojo back, if that's what I'm going to call it. I have had the motivation to use my sewing machine, to work on things. So I just did. December 27th is the anniversary of my mom's passing. And my mom taught me how to sew. And so on the 27th, I spent all day sewing, just to maybe feel connected or to honor her. We used to talk about how big my stash was, and she was always so supportive of my business and, telling me I should put myself out there more and do more things, make more, use up my stash. And so that's what I started on December 27th. That whole weekend, and then well into the end of the year and till now, I have been just motivated to do all of these things. So the Nantucket pouches, this is something I found on YouTube. It's actually made for the 2.5-inch squares, but this YouTube channel used the 5-inch squares and made them massive. So let's open that. So this is what that bag looks like. It's huge. It's very large. But this was a Moto scrap bag that I used. Fun fact, it's called Tiki Talk. And again, I don't know when I got it. Probably when I lived in Oklahoma. So it might have been 2016. I don't know. Not a clue. But I did that. And then I pulled out, these are, remnants from a layer cake quilt that I made, for charity. It's called Firefly by Red Heart, or Ruby Star Society, not Red Heart Super Saver. Ruby Star Society, which is one of my favorite manufacturers, or my favorite brand, I suppose. One of my favorites of fabric. They hold my absolute favorite fabric line, which is speckled. So I just feel like they have a lot of really fun and just prints that speak to me. So these were all scraps left over from a layer cake quilt. And sorry if you can hear what's going on in the house. I think Brutus was doing bad dog stuff outside, and Azathar's been making sure that he is doing what he's supposed to do. So I used scrap, not scrap, but yardage from my stash. So nothing new was purchased for any of these items. Finally finished this scarf. If it'll open, if I can. Okay, so this is a knitted scarf. It's made from wool. It has wool in it. And so anything that has wool in it that I've been gifted yarn wise, will go to charity, because I don't sell things that have animal products in them. And I don't buy brand new stuff that has wool in it. My Goodwill has had the, Lion brand, I think it's Hue and Me. It's like a wool blend, but it's a chunky. And so I've been making knitted beanies with those, along with the yarn, this Buttercream Luxe Craft yarn that I was gifted. And those are going to charity, because it is wintertime and those hats will be warm, but I'm not going to make any profit off of them. That's not how this works, for me at least. So I made an oopsie and bought that Hue and Me from Goodwill at one point. I thought, oh my gosh, there's 5 skeins, it's chunky, I can make knitted beanies out of this. And then I opened it up and was like, it's got wool in it. Like, oh my gosh, but I can pay it forward. I paid, I don't know, like less than $10 for 5 skeins, when I think they retail for almost $10 a skein brand new. So this was one of my first projects of this year, or of 2025, I should say. Or maybe not. Maybe it was April 1st when I started it. I had taken a break from knitting because I made a really big project for my dad, and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm tired. So that was that. And then I started this on New Year's Eve, and then I just put it aside, and then I finished this last night too. So finished 2 things yesterday, but this is and they're all new, right? These are all, except for this one, these are all new projects. And I'm not entirely sure why we're not seeing, oh, that's not in there. Okay. Well, I think this probably takes out the new and the old. So I might have to put it in the notes. But anyways, this is my Airtable. So the 2026 goals: complete all of my old whips. So we're not carrying over anything that's marked as an old project, which is a lot. That's a lot. Track all of my makes and finishes with pictures, regardless of if I'm going to sell them or if they're being donated to charity. I want to keep track of how many things I complete in a year. Monthly skein tracking. I'm doing that. I've already finished 2 skeins, I believe. 3 skeins? 3 skeins. I've already finished 3 skeins for this month, and those are in the bag. So that will be, I don't know that I can promise I'm going to make a video every month about it. I would like it to be a goal, but I don't know that it's feasible for me to create a lot of videos for YouTube since I stream on Twitch so much. But I'm going to try. I'm going to try and generate more videos, definitely more review videos, things that you all want to see me doing, tutorials of any kind. I know that applique is kind of a big one people would like to see my process on. I am no longer an applique fan. That's why the calendar quilt has taken me almost 14 years to complete. So that's that. And then market applications. I actually submitted my first application of the year this year. I have not ever been accepted to a market, but I've only applied to one. So this one is a local, like 5 minutes from my house, maybe 10 minutes from my house, but it's local, and they actually have an event next weekend, or the 10th of January, but then they have like one in February, one in March, or one in May, and then they have a couple more in the fall. So it's not like a big ask. It's not every weekend. It's not once a month. But I applied because I thought, well, if I'm accepted, at least this gives me time in between, and maybe I can apply to another market as things go. So yeah, that's really for my creative side. I don't have a goal money-wise. I am retiring from the military this summer, and I am looking to get a fully remote job, so that I can, be home with the dog and not have to commute anymore. I'm so tired of commuting. I'm so tired of the traffic on the highway. So I would like to do that. And if this starts to generate enough that I don't have to really, I don't have to work, then this will become my primary content creation and my handmade goods. So that's kind of where we're at. If you have any 2026 goals, please put them down in the comment section. I'd love to know what you guys are working on this year. I'd also love to know if you met any or all of your goals for 2025. And if you didn't meet any of them, that's great. That's fine. It's not a big deal. It's not a race. I don't really remember my 2025 goals, but I know that I didn't hit them. I think I had a goal to complete like one bag, stock the shop like one type of bag every month and I wrote them out, and I did not do that at all. I think I started well in January and then it just kind of fell off. So it's not a competition. I am only in competition with myself, and 2025, we're giving a lot of grace for 2025 for everybody that didn't meet their crafting goals, because it was a hard year. If you're dealing with depression, or you've got some neurodivergence going on and you couldn't focus, it's okay. It's okay. Because I have that too. And the form of my ADHD comes with what we call squirreling. Unless I'm tunnel visioned on a task, I don't stay on task very easily. Or I don't have time set aside for a specific task. I'm the person who cleans her house, and I start in one room and that room doesn't get cleaned first. It's somewhere in the middle or at the end, because I will find something that belongs in another room, and then I'll go start cleaning that room, and then I'll find another. It's how I've always been. So just work with it, and that's the way I operate. So I hope that 2026 has started off well for you. I am not going to say this is my year or it's going to be a wonderful year, but I feel like this year is going to be a year of change and growth. And I just hope that it's a good year for everybody, and that you're successful in whatever way that means to you. So thanks for watching. If you liked the video, please give it a like, drop a comment below. It really helps with the algorithm and, getting that whole thing out there, getting the channel out there to people who may not see it otherwise. And I will see you in the next video. Bye.